The next morning, Cole walked down to Johnny Logan's office. The sky was leaden, lying low over the canyon, and the streets were muddy from a late-night rain. An icy wind blew down through the canyon, and the pedestrians, what few there were that time of the morning, were huddled against the cold, their hands bunched inside their pockets, their collars turned up. Constable Logan looked up when Cole entered. Logan's coat was off, and through the tight fit of his shirt, Cole could see the bulk of his shoulders and chest and arms. He was a man who could do a lot of damage with just his fists. Cole had been in the ring with men like him back when he did some prize fighting. He knew what it was like to hit a man like him, and what it was like to be hit.
I see you ain't left town yet.
I came to get some information from you.
You wasted a trip down here then. I ain't in the information business.
What do you know about a ring here in Deadwood?
Cole waited for a sign of recognition, a muscle twitch along the jaw, a shifting of the eyes. Either he was a good poker player, or he didn't know what Cole was talking about, because he couldn't see anything in him that gave away whatever secrets he might be carrying.
Cole, right? If I read your name right, the one you signed on the hotel register, it's John Henry Cole?
Cole waited for him to say what was on his mind.
I got no time for gun artists and bounty hunters, just like I got no time for drunks and troublemakers.
Does that include murdered prostitutes?
He moved well for a big man, but Cole was ready for him. He ducked the first blow from Logan's huge right fist. The left one followed, angled downward, and grazed the side of Cole's face. Cole drove a right to a spot just below his ribs, the only place to hurt a man his size with a body blow. Logan swung a looping left hand that missed, but caught Cole with the elbow to the side of his head as it came around. It was like being struck with an anvil. As Cole stumbled sideways, stunned, the inside of his head ringing like mission bells, his old prizefighter's instincts took over. He lashed a left to Logan's cheek, felt it strike bone. He followed with a right and another left, then two more rights in rapid succession, each blow driving Logan backward. His face was cut high on the cheek from where Cole had hit him with the last right, and a knot bulged over his left eye, and blood leaked from his nostrils. But he was big, and he was gamer, and he hit Cole with a series of pounding blows that drove him back and into the chair of Logan's desk. Cole's feet tangling in the rungs. Cole slammed hard against the floor, the palms of his hands stinging from trying to break the fall. Then Logan hit him with something that dropped him into a long, dark well of nothingness.
I'll take you home again, Kathleen.
Cole awoke to a head that felt like shattered glass. He reached up, probed for the sources of the pain. There were many. The worst, however, was at the back of his skull, where the constable had hit him with something he hadn't seen. His hair was sticky from where his scalp had been split.
Looks like old Johnny Logan gave you the bum's rush, and a whole lot more, mister. The roses are...
Cole adjusted his vision enough to see that he'd been locked up in a small cell with none other than Calamity Jane Canary. She was horribly drunk and reeked of anquitum, a common concoction used by miners to keep down the body lice population. The room was small, maybe 6 feet by 8 feet, with one window that had a set of bars that let in a small amount of light. Through the gloom, Cole could see a heavy iron door that he didn't have to try to know was locked. Against his own better judgment, he managed to sit upright.
Whoa, you're a damn sight more alive than I would have guessed. You don't have no whiskey hidden on you, do you?
Carrying on a conversation with her was not something Cole had in him just at the moment, and when she saw that he wasn't a talker, she took over.
I'd have nursed you if I had some bandages and bear grease. Hell, I nursed a lot worse than you. I even nursed folks through the pox and measles. God damn if I couldn't stand a drink, excuse my French, in case you're a Christian, which I am most of the time, except when I'm drunk and feeling blue, which I am at the prison.
Cole felt his only hope was that she would pass out.
Hell, you like singing, mister? I should have been a singer like one of them opera gals, traveling the world over to see everything, to do everything. Trouble is, my bosoms ain't big enough to be one of them opera gal singers. You ever notice how big a bosoms them gals have? Oh, boy. I mean, I've done some things, believe you me. You ever hear Wild Bill? Hell, of course you have. Everybody's heard of Wild Bill. Me and Bill was married. Oh, God.
Her face twisted suddenly, and she flung herself across her cot in a highly dramatic way. Cole had seen worse performances.
Me and Bill have us a child, a baby girl back east. And now Billy's dead, and we'll never get to see her, and she won't get to see him either. Oh, God.
Her grief was exaggerated. She may not have been an opera singer, but she might have made a pretty fair actress.
You sure you don't have a drink on you, mister?
She wiped at eyes that were absent of tears. When Cole nodded his head, she took on a forlorn look.
Now, if I was wearing some bloomers, I'd take 'em off and made you bandages and wrap that poor head of yours. Did I tell you I used to nurse folks?
Look, I appreciate the offer, Miss Canary, but the truth is I'm not up to conversation just now.
You know my name. Well, hell's bells. What's your name, mister?
Cole gave up on the hope that she would settle down.
Cole. John Henry Cole.
Huh.
Her gaze studied him for several seconds.
Nope, I never heard of you. I thought for a minute I might have known you. I known plenty of good lookers in my time. Shame to admit. Hey, you ever consort with Texas Jack or One-Eyed Johnson? Maybe that's where I might have known you.
Don't know either.
Whiskey gives me the blues. Having too much of it or not having enough.
She waited to see his reaction to her self-made joke, and when he offered none, she slapped her knee.
Oh, boy. Johnny busted you good, didn't he? Drug you in here and tossed you on the floor. I said to him, Johnny, what'd you hit this fella with? And he said, I busted him with the butt of my double-barrel winger, and I'll do the same to you if you don't shut your trap. And then I looked him in the eye and I said, there ain't a day that ever pass in heaven or hell when you'd ever bust me like that, Johnny Logan. And then he slammed the door and skulked off.
For a long moment, she stared at Cole as though seeing him for the first time.
It's a wonder he didn't bash out all your brains.
Yeah, a wonder.
It was me that lifted you up on that cot and put that blanket over you so as you wouldn't catch your death.
Thanks.
Don't need to thank me. I nursed plenty like you. Or have I told you that already? Anyway, you wasn't the only one to pay the devil's price. Johnny wasn't looking so tip-top himself. I seen how his face was all cut and his eyes all big and swelling up. I'd have paid to see that go round.
She fell silent for a minute, and the break from hearing her talk was a welcome gift for Cole, but it only lasted for a minute before she was back at it.
They killed my Bill, you know.
Who did?
Cole was now slightly more interested in what she had to say.
Some folks right here in town. They paid that old ugly skunk McCall to kill him. Paid him $50 and gave him a stolen pistol and sent him off to do it, and he did it, by God.
Who paid him, Jane?
But Cole could tell, looking at her startled eyes, that she was lost somewhere in her own fogged thinking, unaware of half of what she was saying.
He wasn't cross-eyed neither, like they said that he was. He could see good as you and me. He was just a plain damn ugly son of a bitch.
Jane, who was it that paid McCall to kill Bill?
Poor Billy, laid low like that. We was gonna make a big score and go get little Janie and start a home, maybe in Nebraska along the Platte. Bill said how he always liked the Platte. Me, I never could see it living up in that lonesome Nebraska. But I'd have gone anywhere with old Bill. But that's all dried up dreams now. Thanks to Mr. Jack McCall.
She wound down at last, sat silently, her head tilted over to one side, her mouth open, the blunted teeth showing behind her pale, thin lips. A string of drool leaked from one corner of her mouth. And then she slumped over, her eyes closing as she did so.